There is nothing that I want more than to see you happy, successful, abundant, and in love with yourself. And I think I felt that way my entire life, and I didn't know why, that there was this need that I had to help others in some way. At most times, at my own detriment. I would put me last. I didn't know why I was acting that way, but it was always really, really important. And as I've looked at the world recently, I know that it's even more important now. But the difference is I understand. We never know who we're going to become when we come into this world. We don't know what the world is going to turn out being, but we know that we operate in certain ways. And what we want to become successful is to know who we are, is to understand our life purpose, that we matter, that we were born for a reason, that we have a great career, that we can become abundant in some way, that we can have all the right relationships, that we can feel great about ourselves, that we can love who we are. And I was given all that information, and it was meant to be used now. There are certain things that are really challenging for us to believe, but we only exist in our consciousness. That's the first thing to recognize. We will each form that in different ways and believe certain things. But then there are other certain sciences, regardless of what we might believe intellectually or ideologically, but there are certain sciences that then will give us some sort of proof. And in 1989, I sat down and started writing Wilhelm, channeling, receiving information. I didn't know why I was doing it, except I needed help. And it was helping me in ways that I couldn't explain. And then I hid it. I became this hermit. I hid it for years, 20 years. And the only way that it came out is that people found it. Some people came in my office at that time and found the writings and looked at them and said they really helped them and they wanted me to send them to them. I hadn't planned on publishing anything, but I formed a little email list, a little, because that's on AOL then, because that's all that we had. This was in 2007, I believe. And that was it. I didn't want anyone to see them because I didn't understand what was happening. Then in 2019, I published a book, Overcoming Fear, because I recognized that I needed to make a contribution because this, what I had done, I'd been in fear my entire life, and what had come through this work I had to give to others because it was an understanding. Now, I didn't get at that moment what was happening, but I do now, and that's why I'm telling you. I could have not known this unless some artificial intelligence had come around to kind of clue me in that I developed some ability that I could access information. I always knew I was intuitive. That's why I could read people so easily and my other skills that came about. But I never was going to do channeling. I was never going to be a person who did channeling or work. Never. I hid from it actually, and I kind of put it away. And then it turns out that that's, and Wilhelm says that probably the thing that you fear the most is your gift. And that thing about fearing success, that's real because I feared success. Because if I were to embrace this gift, then I would have to own myself. That was a little scary. That was unknown. So I shut myself down. And so I was not going to tell people that I had this incredible stuff. I wouldn't finish the work. I wouldn't do all of that. And I saw everything that Wilhelm had given me about what was going to happen in the world and why this work was so important. It's all here. None of it was accidental. All energetic changes. And when we understand them, we can move through them and we heal. And the thing that's happened, and I'm feeling a little, it took a while for me to come to this place to tell you everything because I need you to know what you can accomplish because I have to change. We all have to change. And that's really what's happening. Because Wilhelm said we were going to go through this really challenging, difficult time. A lot of it was going to be about money and worth, All of it's been written, it's all there, and it's energetic changes that have happened over time. And so, what it turns out, the reason that their work was so effective is that I was receiving information that was connected to the energetic, astrological changes in our world, and the information was kind of guiding me to this new understanding. So it turned into this philosophy that's a new way of thinking and being and looking at things. However, you think about moving to a higher state of consciousness, that's what it does to you. And I couldn't understand it until I heard it back later. I'm saying that because when I'm receiving the information, I'm not there. And that's the other thing that was challenging to explain to many, many people. But I have to own it because I developed some ability that no other person has had, obviously. And it's going to be, I'm publishing some of it on the 7th because I want people to understand it. We have the ability to change everything. And so where the world is now is that we need help moving to this next level of understanding of consciousness, and Wilhelm is giving it to us. And it was my doubt of how this had happened, but fortunately, artificial intelligence, it just verified it in a different way. I've always been a person that needed proof. I would never put anything out, or I always had to have the proof. Even when I had when I did my other business, my singing business, my proof was right there. And then when I started doing this work with Wilhelm, the proof was there as well. But now what's happened is developing this other ability or skill, which I want others to understand it is possible when we think about time, space, trajectory, and all that. You'll see in the Wilhelm messages that they have lined up information over years on the same date, and usually with energetic changes that are happening. And I could have never explained that, except the end result is when you take it into you, it changes your consciousness and you heal and you become aligned. And the more people who do that, we have a very different world. And that's what you'll read in the messages. And there was a session there that is included from many years ago. But what I'm saying is I wanted everyone to understand because there are many people who are waiting for me to move ahead and understand what this work is and what this philosophy is. And what it is taking someone to understanding their unique soul path, why they're here on this earth, how they can fulfill that, giving them support to get there. Because you're supposed to be abundant, you're supposed to have great relationships and move through any kind of trauma or any kind of spiritual blockages. And this work has all of it. And when it was said that Wilhelm gave me something that was personal development, self-actualization, and ascension, it seemed like that's kind of impossible. But when you see all the documents that have come about, it was actually possible. So that's why I'm changing and putting all the work and doing all of it. I invite you to see it. But I'm saying all of this because we're moving through great changes, whether you see my work or not. We're moving through changes in the world, and we're going to have more of them. I've been given that information. So the thing that you're meant to do now is to really love yourself, improve, just focus on who you are and do the thing that you came to the world to do. You'll see, Wilhelm gave us all of that information. Talk to you soon.